Hello, everyone. We are going to wait a couple of minutes until everyone is in the room, and then we will start with the webinar. We are going to wait for just 2 more minutes, and then we will start. Okay, I think we can start. Welcome all to this webinar of Follow the Camino. Thank you for being here. My name is Clara. I'm one of the Camino specialists of Follow the Camino. I'm from Santiago de Compostela, born and raised. And today we are going to talk about the full routes of the Camino de Santiago. We are gonna talk about different topics as well, such as the organization of a Camino trip, the planning stages, the fitness or distances of each route. We will talk also about logistics, what to bring on your daily backpack, what to bring on your big suitcase, and at the end, we will have a Q&A time. My colleague Tanya will be on the comment section. If you have any particular question about the slide we are talking about, feel free to just send a message and she will be able to answer your question. If you have any specific question about any particular detail or personalized information that you require, at the end of the webinar, I will let you know how you can contact us to solve your questions and doubts. So we start talking about the Camino de Santiago. What is the Camino? The Camino is not a simple route or a single route. It's a combination, a network of routes. The Camino de Santiago is the way of St. James. The Camino's goal is always to end in Santiago de Compostela, where the body of St. James, Santiago Apostle, is buried in the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela. We are going to learn a bit of history of the Camino and also history of St. James. St. James, or Santiago, was one of the 12 apostles, but not only he was part of Jesus' inner circle, he also was witnessing key events like the Transfiguration at that time, but he was preaching Christianity along Europe, but especially in Spain. According to the New Testament, he was the first apostle to be martyred, beheaded by Herod or Herodes in Jerusalem centuries ago. The legend states that his disciples transported his body by the sea to the Iberian Peninsula and buried him near the modern-day location, which is nowadays Santiago de Compostela. This is where the pilgrimage to Santiago began. The church gave plenary indulgence to those who went and paid tribute to St. James' remains in the city of Santiago. So the real boom of the Camino was during the Middle Ages, when it was very popular, with hundreds of thousands of pilgrims making this pilgrimage. You know how the Camino de Santiago was popular on those times? You might be wondering, why is it so popular now? People walking the Camino can walk it for diverse reasons, of course, most commonly for spiritual region or spiritual reflection. It's also a personal development or a physical challenge. You can use the Camino to unplug for your daily life, to find a purpose, to experience, for example, the feeling of belonging to a group. But it's also a journey to self-discover, to allow changes into your inner circle or yourself. Whatever your reason is to walk the Camino, we are here to help you plan it and to help you have the best experience possible. The Camino today. The Camino is walked by all age groups and all type of nationalities. Of course, people from Spain are the ones that the Camino de Santiago Pilgrims Office receives the most, for obvious reasons, but also it's followed by clients from the US and from other parts of Europe, such as Italy, Germany, or Portugal. In regards to the routes, the Camino Francés, that we'll later on explain more in detail, is the most popular Camino, chosen by almost the 57% of pilgrims, and is followed by the Portuguese inland or coastal route with over 20% of clients approximately. As you can see on the numbers of the screen, the 2026 year is to be expected better than the 2025 year, receiving more pilgrims every year. And 2027 year will be Holy Year, Jubilee year. Therefore, Santiago is prepared to receive even more pilgrims. If you are here to plan a Camino for 2027, just so you know that our bookings are open. So do not hesitate to contact us with your early stages planning your Camino trip. How routes differ? You need to know some key factors before deciding what route is the best for your Camino trip. You need to review the length or the terrain of your Camino, depending on your time availability, the landscapes you will like to experience, more rural or perhaps more coastal, the infrastructure and services, if you prefer a comfortable Camino. If you want to walk in solitude or perhaps share your experience with others and meet pilgrims, and you have to take into account your fitness level, if you're a beginner or an experienced walker. Why walking a full route on the Camino de Santiago and not just a short section? Walking a full Camino de Santiago route gives you a strong sense of achievement and is also a personal transformation, since you will complete in stage by stage all the routes until ending in Santiago de Compostela and have your goal to reach the cathedral. The full route also offers physical and mental benefits, since you are walking every day, improving your fitness level, reducing your stress. And also this helps you build resilience. You will experience also rich and cultural or historical meaning on the Camino. You will be walking through different regions, countries with different cultures and knowledge. And you will be completing a Camino with a spiritual meaning. If you're not using the Camino as a religious reason, you can also use it to know better yourself and have a more introspective way of your life. And also, if you want to share your Camino with others, these full routes allow you to have a sense of community. You will belong to the Camino family, and you will share your experience and your walking days with others. Most of the trails are full of cafes, service, or, for example, local areas where you can share your time with other people. You can make new friends along the route. It's very easy to interact with people. You can start with a buen camino. This is how you greet people on the route, and then the connection just will merge between all of you. You can also taste some new flavors on the routes. My favorite is the pulpo a la gallega, the octopus, but you have a wide range of variety of gastronomy cultures to enjoy. As well as the nature, if you want to walk next to the ocean or perhaps in more rural areas, you can feel that connection with all the landscapes that you will traverse during your Camino trip. So we go to the important of this webinar, the full Camino routes. We are going to talk about all of the full Camino routes we offer in Follow the Camino, starting for the Camino Frances, which starts in France and have you walking through the border to Spain, crossing all the country until reaching the city of Santiago de Compostela, which is the goal of the full routes. We also be talking about the north route, the Camino del Norte, that starts in a beautiful coastal city called San Sebastián. You will walk until a place called Oviedo, where the Camino del Norte merges the Camino Primitivo, this green light, until you reach the city of Santiago. We also will be talking with some other shorter routes from Ferrol to Santiago, or from Santiago to Finisterre, the only route that starts in Santiago and ends in a different place. If we go to the south, in Andalusia, we are going to talk about the Vía de la Plata route, starting in the south, in the city of Sevilla, going all the way up until Santiago de Compostela. If we switch countries, we can also walk the Camino in Portugal, the Portuguese inland route from Lisbon until Santiago, of course, or coastal from Porto. And if you prefer to walk in Italy, you can also walk the Le Puy route or Via Podiniensis from Le Puy-en-Velay till Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port. And if you feel comfortable with it, you can also continue merging the French route and reaching Santiago de Compostela. The Camino Frances, the French route, is the most iconic route of all the Caminos we offer. It's divided in 8 sections that you can walk in 34 walking days. It covers a total distance of 772 kilometers, and it's ideal for first Camino experience or single travelers. In the Middle Ages, pilgrims walked through Europe and different parts of the country, through Spain, crossing the country of Spain until reaching Santiago de Compostela to see the tomb of St. James. That is why this is one of the most popular pilgrimage and caminos. Since it is one of the most popular, there are more services and more facilities along the route, making this camino more comfortable for you if it is your first time walking a full route. Also, if you are a single traveler, you can choose to walk the Camino Frances because you will find more people walking the route, and it's a great experience and a great opportunity to share your time with others. As we previously mentioned, the Camino Frances starts crossing the border from France to Spain. On your first walking day, you will have to cross the Pyrenees. The first day is considered the hardest walking day of all the Camino routes. You will have to ascend all the way up to then go down and continue with your walk. There's 2 important and difficult walking days on the full French route. Here around day 25, approximately, when you will reach the city of Astorga, and here you will need to arrive into the city or small village of Ocebreiro. Ocebreiro is a medieval rural village located on the top of a mountain in the inland Galician countryside. Therefore, you need to have a good breakfast before this walking day because, as you can see here, the elevation goes all the way up to then go down and reach the city of Santiago de Compostela. We will provide you with some images so you can also imagine what the Camino looks like. This is how the Camino Frances will be presented to you, a combination of rural areas, some great mountains and great views, but also some historical cities like this one that you're seeing right now in the screen, which is the Castle of Ponferrada. We go then to the second favorite choice, which is the Camino Portuguese coastal route. You will be walking 2 sections from Porto to Oia and Oia to Santiago. This Camino can be walked in 12 walking days. You will be covering 296 kilometers. You will be walking through small fisherman villages next to the coast. Therefore, the Camino is very flat, adapted to all fitness levels, where you can see here on the elevation map that there are small ups and downs, and it's pretty easy to accomplish. The Camino Portuguese coastal route is one of my favorites, since it's a combination of coastal sections of the Camino and also rural areas and farmlands. And also, after your walking day, perhaps you can go for a swim. This is how the Camino Portuguese coastal route will look like. Then we move on to the different Camino Portuguese inland route this time. Is divided in 5 sections this time. It can be accomplished in 27 walking days, divided in 620 kilometers. This Camino offers a lively but quieter taste of the Camino route. It's less crowded compared to other routes, especially compared to the French route. It's a great alternative if you're seeking a bit of quiet, but not too much. Especially the first sections from Lisbon to Porto will be quieter with less services for you to have a relaxed Camino. And as you approach Porto or Santiago, the Camino will be a bit more crowded with more services and a more comfortable experience. The route begins in the city of Lisbon and then goes all the way up through historic cities such as Santarém, Coimbra, Porto, or Tui. You will pass through some vineyards, Roman bridges, monasteries, churches, chapels. So it's a route that quietly reveals its magic and also offers a more historic perspective of the Camino. This is what the Camino Portuguese inland route from Lisbon will look like. This Camino is also known for its paved terrain, making it a bit easier to complete. We move now to the north of the country, the Camino del Norte. The Camino del Norte is divided in 4 sections, and then it merges with the Camino Primitivo to reach Santiago de Compostela. You can walk the full Camino del Norte in 21 walking days and accomplish 475 kilometers in total. The Camino, as you can see on the elevation map, goes up and down, up and down, up and down. It's a bit more complicated than other Caminos due to this difference on the elevation and differences on the terrain. You will be walking through some Basque rural country areas, crossing Cantabrian mountains. Even though it's rough, this route will offer stunning views, a fantastic gastronomy. The cuisine in the north is one of the best of the country, and you will be fascinated with the colors of the Camino in the Norte, as you can see here on those pictures. And these small tapas that you see here are called pinchos, present in all the north of Spain. As we mentioned in the previous slide, the Camino del Norte combines with the Camino Primitivo. The Camino Primitivo is also called the original way, since Alfonso II was the king of Asturias, of that region, was considered the first pilgrim walking from Asturias to Santiago to visit the tomb of St. James to honor him. The Camino Primitivo can be walked in 2 stages, from Oviedo to Lugo and from Lugo to Santiago. It's a 14th walking day experience where you will walk approximately 314 kilometers. This Camino, as well as the North Camino and the North Route, is a challenging path that offers a wider and authentic experience with natural landscapes and quieter trails. It's not recommended for the faint at heart. As you can see, the elevation is a bit complicated compared to other Camino routes. But the views, as you can see here, will be amazing. It's a very green Camino. We move now to the north of the province of Galicia, to the Camino Ingles. The Camino Ingles was primarily used by travelers that came from Britain, Ireland, or also Scandinavia to avoid traversing the Camino from France. To avoid those crowds, they will use a boat to ship until Ferrol, which is a very important harbor today. Therefore, this is a combination of a scenic Camino with coastal sections and also rural and inland parts when reaching Santiago de Compostela. It's ideal for clients with a short period of time to travel because it's only one section that can be walked in 5 walking days, covering 115 kilometers only. And this is what the Camino from Ferrol, the Camino Ingles, will look like. We move from a short Camino to one of the longest, the Camino Vía de la Plata. The Vía de la Plata starts on the south in Sevilla and ascends all the way up to Santiago de Compostela. It's a 10-section Camino de Santiago. You will be accomplished 938 kilometers that can be walked in 47 days. The Via de la Plata has a rural landscape, especially farmlands. The best olive oil and pork meat is produced on this area. The terrain has some ups and downs, but especially rolling hills with no major climbs, as you can see on the elevation. You will find less services on this route. Not many people used to walk the Via de la Plata, therefore it's perfect for clients looking for solitude or for people who is looking to travel in off-season months. The south of Spain has very high and heated temperatures during summer months. Therefore, this is the perfect Camino to walk between March and April or September, October. Since this Camino is less traveled, accommodation are simple, but has more essence of the Camino and more history compared to other places. The Camino de la Plata is exactly what you are looking right now at those images. Nothing on the right, nothing on the left. Perfect if you're looking for a more introspective time on the Camino, solitude, and perhaps some time on with reflection and just time for yourself. The Camino de Finisterre, also one of my favorites. In Latin, Finisterre means finis terrae, the end of the world. Ancient Romans believed that the Finisterre point, was the western edge of the world. It's the only Camino that starts in Santiago and ends in a different place. It's easy to walk the Camino Finisterre because it's just one section, 6 walking days, less than 100 kilometers, 86 kilometers approximately. Walking this Camino offers scenic landscapes as well, ideal for clients looking for shorter routes or perhaps clients that have already walked the Camino and have already reached the city of Santiago. At the end of the Camino, there's a lighthouse that merges, is called, or it is said that is where the Camino, where the land meets the Atlantic Ocean. We now move to a different country, to France, and we are going to talk about the Le Puy route. Le Puy is also known as Via Pudiensis or Chemin du Puy in French. Pilgrims used to walk this in 6 sections, 31 walking days, and approximately distance of 740 kilometers. You will walk through volcanic plateaus, medieval towns, for example, Conques or Figeac. And before you enter the countryside, you will also walk through some vineyards until you reach the Pyrenees in Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, where the Camino Frances starts. The routes in Italy are less traveled compared to the Caminos in Spain or Portugal. Therefore, there are less services along the routes, forcing you to plan in advance your Camino and more essentials on your daily backpack. But you will also stay in beautiful Italian cities located in the countryside. Some of them are part of the UNESCO site, and some of them have also been appraised as the best or the most beautiful small village in the country. We go back to Spain, and we also have an alternative for the French route called Camino de Invierno. It's only 2 sections that can be walked in 11 days, covering 270 kilometers. The Camino de Invierno, or Winter Way, is an historic route that covers from Ponferrada to Monforte de Lemos and from Monforte de Lemos to Santiago. It starts in Ponferrada in the province of Castilla y León, and it was originally used as a milder alternative to the high pass of Ocebreiro. If you remember from the previous slides, there was a high point in the elevation map of the French route that was Ocebreiro, the town located in the top of the mountain. Well, in winter in Ocebreiro, you can find a lot of snow. Therefore, pilgrims decided to choose an alternative option, avoiding the city of Ocebreiro, and has become the Camino de Invierno. It's quieter. You will avoid the crowds of the French route, but also passing through vineyards, since you will be walking next to the River Miño, River Sil. It's also a stunning Camino, especially if you're looking to walk the Camino in winter months. This is how the Camino de Invierno will look like if you decide to walk it with us. Now, what is a typical day on the Camino? First of all, you need to know that there's not a specific organization to plan your day on the Camino. You can organize it as you wish, depending on your needs or your fitness levels. Here is just an example of what the majority of the pilgrims use to organize their days. First of all, they just get up and leave their bags at the reception of the accommodation to use the luggage transfer service that we will later on detail a bit more. You have breakfast if it's included with us, and you start the walk around 9 a.m. You walk for a couple of hours, but then you stop for a coffee or a beer, depending on your mood, and you continue walking until your lunchtime. If you're walking a popular route especially, you will find plenty of places with pilgrims menus for you to eat along the route. After you have a good lunch, you continue walking until 4 or 5 p.m. mid-afternoon, where you will arrive at your accommodation. You can get changed, have a good shower, go to have dinner at your accommodation, or enjoy local gastronomy where you are based, and go to rest. It's very important to rest and have a good sleep on the Camino. Also, you would like to adapt this a little bit if you're choosing to walk the Camino during summer months in July or August. Perhaps you prefer to get up a bit early and start walking around 7:30 a.m. to avoid the warmest hours of the day. Of course, the arrival into Santiago de Compostela will be a magical moment. You will see the cathedral and obtain your pilgrim certificate or credential. In the Middle Ages, the Christians who walked the Camino to see the St. James tomb were given the scallop shell as a recognition to prove their walk. Happens that this scallop shell was easy to duplicate or to falsifiable. Therefore, they have created the credential in paper called the Compostela certificate or Compostela or Compostelana. To obtain the credential, pilgrims require to walk at least the last 100 kilometers of the route. You need to stamp your passport, that we will see in the next slide, once a day to obtain the certificate. Once you arrive into Santiago, you need to go to the cathedral, have your last stamp, go to the pilgrim's office, and you will receive the paper that credits you as a proper pilgrim. Where do you obtain these stamps? You can find them in churches, bars, shops, hostels, in any type of establishments, and some of them take them very serious and they have very cute stamps. This is an example of what the Camino passport is and all the credentials that you need to obtain to then get the certificate in Santiago. Your Camino, your way. Of course, we will be happy to help you plan your Camino, but we will need to know the needs and your preference to help you decide which route is the best route for you, depending on your fitness levels, depending on your interest, your time availability. Just let us know all the details that you have or that you need, and we will be happy to discover the perfect route for you. We have been working on the Camino 20 years now, since 2006. Therefore, we have a wide range of accommodation lists. It's important to let you know that we do not outsource. We communicate directly with all of our providers, and we rate our accommodations based on some key factors such as their character, their location, the services they provide, and we will fit our comfort packages or the type of accommodation you need to your Camino experience. If you decide to walk only with your daily backpack, we will be happy to transfer your big bag from one accommodation to the next one. We later on will talk about this, but it's very easy. You just drop the bag at 8 a.m. at the reception of your accommodation and start your walk worry-free. We will do the rest. We want you to have the Pilgrim certificate, therefore we will send you by post to your home address if you live in Ireland or to your first accommodation some essentials. First of all, the Pilgrim's passport to stamp along the route. Secondly, your luggage tags, so you can identify your bags for us to transfer, and also a physical guidebook for you to review all the details and information of each Camino walk. We have been working 20 years on the Camino. We have a very expertise team of Camino specialists that will help you since the planning stages till you end your Camino. We also provide you with a 24/7 emergency phone line, just in case you need to reach us while you are on the route, so you can walk the Camino worry-free. You only need to worry about walking. The rest, we will be handling. Since we will carry your bag from hotel to hotel, you need to worry about what you bring on your daily backpack. It's important for you to know that, first of all, you need to bring your Pilgrim's passport, but also some essentials such as tissues, some snacks, your reusable water bottle to fill in some fountains, your passport. Also, very important, valuable items such as your mobile charger, some medicines, your wallet. And of course, depending on the weather forecast, you need to plan and bring a raincoat, hat, sunscreen. You need to check the forecast before everyday walk and before packing. That's very important. You can see on this slide that we will tell you that you can pack up to 20 kilos as a maximum, and 15 if you're traveling or walking in Italy. So we show you here some essentials and some information of what you can bring on your daily backpack and what you can bring on your big bag. As we mentioned, it's important for you to check the weather forecast to know how much layers you need to bring on the Camino. It's also important for you to dress casual. Comfort is the most important thing on the Camino. Regarding shoes, for example, it's always better to test them in advance. Do not go to the Camino, and especially on a full route, with new shoes. And as a tip, you can use Vaseline every day to put Vaseline on your feet to prevent the blisters. As we mentioned, you can include a 20-kilo backpack and just walk the Camino worry-free. And now probably you're wondering, okay, but what is the temperature or the average weather forecast on the route that I'm going to walk? We have the answer to your question. You can go to our website, followthecamino.com, look for the route that interests you the most, and you will see all of this information detailed. The weather forecast, the best month to walk, and all of the information you need. Talking about accommodation, depending on the route you want to walk, we can offer you different types of accommodation. Do not be expecting a Sheraton during the full Camino route, because that will not happen. That doesn't exist. But we have great properties that we work with to make your Camino a comfort experience. They are clean properties with nice and welcome staff. Depending on the route, you can choose to, for example, stay in hostels with other pilgrims. Perhaps you're looking for a more simple and basic Camino experience, or on the contrary, you prefer to have a deluxe or an upgraded experience at some points. I think after a full route walk, you deserve a 4-star night sleep in Santiago at least. If you are walking a rural Camino, of course, you need to expect rural accommodations located in green areas or small villages. They will be comfortable, but you need to be realistic of what we can offer you and what the route offers you as well. We will assure you that we can provide private rooms with private bathrooms in our standard packages. But if you have any specific request, just feel free to send us a chat, call us back, and we will be happy to solve all of your questions and adapt us to your needs. The training, also a very important part of preparing your Camino trip. I will advise you to train no matter how fit you are or how fit you have been. It's very important to train. It will allow you to have a comfortable experience during a full route. The distances can be an average of 20 to 25 kilometers, 12, 15 miles approximately, that sometimes can be broken into 2 walking days with splits. We can adapt your distances to our packages if needed. And we can also include rest days if one day you decide not to walk, or for example, if you want to make some tourism or just explore the area. It's important to train in different types of terrains, since the Camino will also offer you different types of landscapes. Therefore, you can try to train in flat terrain, some elevation terrain. Go for a weekend and try yourself and have a feeling of what the Camino can be for you and can be suitable for you. If you made this far, thank you. I hope this webinar has been a great help for you. We have a very, very special surprise only for the attendees of this webinar, which is a 10% discount in all of our full Camino routes with us, available until the 15th of April. So please do not hesitate to get in touch. Remember that we can also confirm 2027 bookings if you're perhaps deciding on walking the Camino next year. How you can contact us? You can give us a call at any of the numbers provided. You can also send us an email at the email address provided, info@followthecamino.com. In the website as well, you can book a free virtual appointment if you prefer face-to-face information or chat with one of the Camino experts. The more information you provide, always the better, since we are trying to adapt your needs and all your Camino requests to our packages and what we offer. Now is some questions and answer time. I will be happy to just go into the chat and see if you have any questions. Let me check. No questions? Well, if you have any particular question, remember that you can send us an email. You can also have a call with us or a virtual meeting. This webinar will be sent to you, the recording version, just in case you have any questions or doubts about what we told here. If no one has any question, well, I think then that will be all. Thank you so much for your assistance. I will be happy to connect with all of you if you have any questions. Have a great day, and of course, buen camino. Bye-bye.